All right. What's next?
Where do you get the info to calculate? I don't know why I'm eating my words today. Market potential for a given product service in a city. Do you just Google it, or is there a source for these facts and figures? So that's the question.
I'm just gonna be over here.
I just saw the answer.
Yeah.
Well, I think I mentioned before, the business owner probably has a pretty good idea if they've been around at all for a while. They're going to know what their competitors are doing. They're going to know it in a lot of different ways, like maybe even by what kind of truck they're driving. But yeah, there are government resources for that. And I just saw Roy has the links to them, so I don't remember the actual addresses. You're going to get them in just a minute. Zach, do you have anything you'd add to that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Daniel's
Yeah.
he's making more coffee over there.
Yeah. It's like, this is what happens when you ask a bunch of creatives like the the number crunching questions. I think this is one of those research. This is often the shoe leather that differentiates an exceptional marketing firm from, just somebody who throws stuff at a wall and hopes it sticks, is being able to actually find out like the real hard data, and it takes digging. And I've heard, Roy, we've had conversations in the past about some of those government resources, and the one thing I will say is, even it, and I saw it too, we're going to get specific links, but they're clumsy and really, you got to search it. Nobody's handing this stuff on a silver platter. And in fact, this is why consulting firms like get paid thousands of dollars a year, is because they essentially have people in the background with their heads down and books and numbers poring over this stuff and then condensing it and selling it to you, right? So if you're going to do it yourself, I think it's going to take some serious digging, but it is possible.
I would say too, how important is it, right? You can get lost in data. You can just get so buried in this. There are kind of easier ways. If you're in a home service business, how many trucks do you have versus how many trucks does the biggest competitor have?
Just go drive by their parking lot at night.
You've got 5 and they've got 15. They're probably 3 times bigger than you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But so you can get a good idea on those. And I think sometimes when I've explained the advertising performance equation to people, they get lost in wanting to know exact numbers for market share and share of voice. It's like, you'll never calculate that to any kind of degree of accuracy.
The most dangerous thing about asking for those numbers is somebody's going to give them to you, and who knows what they're based on. So if you insist long enough on needing exact numbers, and you only work with consultants and radio people who will give them to you, someone's going to. That doesn't mean they mean anything.
Yeah. So Roy, answering the question, there are essentially 3 ways. If possible, you should use all 3 ways. If you do it right, you'll find that all 3 sources will give you a similar answer. 1, Google it. The information will be online somewhere, but make sure your source is credible. If the organization posting those numbers might benefit from inflating the market potential, do not use those numbers. Number 2, government tax records by business category. In the US, the NAICS numbers found at, and then there's the hyperlink.
Mm-hmm.
Oop, I gotta click on that. So here's a screenshot essentially of that. Note the Google number and the NAICS number will typically be for the entire nation. Divide this national number by the population of the nation to get a per capita number. Multiply that per capita number by the population of your trade area. 3, without telling your client why you are doing it, ask them to name every competitor.
I like this one best.
Yeah. Write down every name in a vertical column on a whiteboard. Every time they stop, ask them, can you think of any more? Don't let them disqualify high-end or low-end competitors by saying to you, that's not really our customer. List everyone. When your
Mhm.
client cannot think of any more potential competitors, ask them to estimate the sales volume of each competitor. They will tell you that they have no way of knowing, but ask them to guess anyway. Write down the estimated volume of each competitor next to their name on the vertical list. Add up the estimated volumes. Don't be surprised when it agrees with the other two numbers you found from Google and from NICS. I have typically found all three numbers to be within about 10% of each other. The thing you will learn from this exercise is that every good potential client will have a reasonably accurate gut feeling about the sales volume of their competitors.
That's why I like this.
Mhm.
If the client cannot name their competitors and genuinely has no idea of their sales volume, run, run, run. You cannot make a disengaged client successful. Success takes a lot more than just good advertising.
Yeah, all three of those are great, but I definitely think that third one is most powerful because it gets you two things at the same time. One,
Yeah.
it gets you some information, but it also lets the client sort of bear his skill set without being pointed.
You'll find out some things that you didn't expect to. I've done that exercise quite a bit with clients, especially in Uncovery, because it really gives you a feel for whether they know their market or not. Right? If they can name a bunch of their competitors, they're paying attention, right? If they just say, "Oh, well, I don't know, I just started this and I don't really care who I'm competing with," that
No, I'm
Yeah.
going to be good. I don't competitors are irrelevant. My shit's better than everyone
Yeah.
else's.
it does end up pretty accurate. At least you know who the big ones are.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
they always have an estimate too of like I go back to home service companies, but like they know how many tiny competitors there are too, right?
Mhm.
There's probably a couple hundred one guy truck and a pickup truck,
Yep.
right? So
mhm. Yeah. Plus, SJ personality types love seeing stuff on a whiteboard, so that's always a win.
That's true.
All right. Next question.